Hello my dear students, I hope you all are very fine. In this video we are going to start our new chapter, that is chapter 6, plants making and storing food. In this chapter we are going to deal how plant used to make their food and how they used to store the food. Storing of the food is very important. Like we also used to store the food now for the critical situation. Sometimes we are not feeling well, sometimes we are not getting the things to make the food. Okay, then what we do? We use our stored food. So the plants also used to do the same thing so that they can survive when the critical situations are there and they are not able to prepare the food. That's why the chapter's heading is making and storing food. They are making the food also, and for sometimes they are storing food also, so that if they are not able to make the food, they can survive. These all things we will discuss in this chapter. But in this video we are only going to discuss about the plant and the parts of the plant and how they used to make the food only. Okay, so without any delay, let's start our video. In our surrounding, we used to see the different types of plants. Sometimes we are seeing trees, sometimes we are seeing the bushes, which are also known as shrubs. Sometimes we are seeing the plants which is having the medicinal value, which is known as herbs. Some are growing on the ground, which is known as creeper, and some are climbing the trees or other thing, which is known as climbers. So these are the classification of the plant. But one thing is common in all these plants, that they all are having leaves which are used to make the food, because without the food no plant can survive. A lot of leaves are present in the trees and little leaves are present in herbs, creeper and climber. So how much big the plant is there, according to that the number of leaves is always present, so that the sufficient amount of food can be prepared. Okay, and this is very important for our earth. That's why we always suggest you to plant more and more trees. Okay, because if the tree will not be there, then we cannot survive. Directly or indirectly we are depending on the plants also. So keep saving our earth, keep planting the new plants. But before starting anything, let's discuss some of the important things regarding the plants. Actually, why the plants are important, not only for the food, but there are the multiple uses of this plant. Okay, so let's discuss one by one. The first, just now I told you, it gives us food. We get fruit, we get vegetables, nuts, seeds and leaves. Sometimes we are eating leaves as a food also, like spinach, coriander, mint. These all are the leaf that we use as a food. So first of all, the plants are giving us food, which is very important for us. It is not providing food for only human being, it is providing to the other animals also. That's why it is very important. Second thing, some of the plant which is known as herb is having the medicinal value, like aloe vera and tulsi. We always used to eat when we are not feeling well. Okay, we use turmeric also when we are not feeling well, and if we are having sprain, if we are having cough and cold, we used to drink the tea having the tulsi leaf in that. Why? Because they are having the medicinal value. If we are having scars or wound, then we used to apply the aloe vera. Aloe vera is also the plant which is having the very nice medicinal value. So this is also the important thing regarding the plant. Next, these some of the plant like papyrus and other plants are used to make the paper. Paper is very important. Without the paper we cannot do any of the work, any of the written work. Okay, and where you used to sit in the school, on the desk and bench. Okay, where you used to study in the home, on the table. So how this desk and bench and table are forming? With the help of trees only. Okay, we use wood of the tree to make all these things. So these are important now. Next is it is playing the very important role to clean our environment also. We all are knowing there is no need of carbon dioxide in our air. Actually it is very harmful for us, but we are having due to some activities, some of the human activities are releasing the carbon dioxide, but these carbon dioxide are getting absorbed by the plant, and in exchange of that they are giving us oxygen, which is very important. Why? Because we used to take oxygen and we used to release carbon dioxide, and these carbon dioxide is taken by the plant, and by that process the level of the carbon dioxide is reduced to the large extent and our atmosphere become clean. So purification work is also done by the plant. That's why plant is very important. Next, it provides the shelter to the many animals and birds. In the forest, a lot of type of animals are living on the trees. They are making the nest. Birds are making the nest. So it is providing the shelter. Okay. Last one is plant protect the soil from the erosion also. You all are knowing when the wind will blow or the water will flow, then what will happen? Slowly the layer of the soil used to remove from there, which is known as a soil erosion. When we are growing the trees, then tree and plant's root is holding the soil very tightly, and it does not allow to remove the soil from that part, and by this way they are protecting the soil erosion. So see how much importance are there of the trees. So let's start our chapter now. We are seeing the different type of parts in the plant, and each and every plant is having the specific function, and they are continuously performing these function and surviving and giving us a lot of values of that. Okay, so leaf, fruit, flower, stem and root are the part of these plants, and all these parts are very important. All these parts are playing the important role. Okay, so one by one what we are going to discuss, their function we are going to discuss. Before that, let's know the basically how they are categorized. Some of the part we are seeing is growing above the ground, which is known as shoot system, whereas under the ground it is known as root system. So broadly the plant has been divided into two parts: the shoot system, which is growing above the ground, and root system, which is growing under the ground. And except that there are the individual part in the shoot also that we are going to discuss one by one. So first we are going to discuss about the root, how the root is important. First of all, root keeps the plant upright. Okay, it used to hold the plant tightly so that it can stand very nicely. Second thing, it used to absorb the water and mineral that we are providing to the plant. If we are growing the plant in the pot only we used to pour the water from the soil. How they are getting the water? By absorbing from the soil. And some of the big trees, they are absorbing from the ground. They are going deep into the ground and absorbing the water. So for absorption of the water, the root is very important. After absorbing water, these are transferred to the stem. Okay, so after absorbing water, they are providing these water to the stem. Next is the last one is they are storing the food also. Just now I told you some of the part of the plant is used to store the food, and we are eating those part as a food. We are eating radish, we are eating a turnip and carrot. And which part is these? These are the root. So these are swallowed. Why? Because they are storing the food, and later on we are using as a food. So root also used to store the food. Next we are going to discuss about the stem. The stem sometimes look green, which also perform the function of the photosynthesis. Except these also carry the water. After getting the water from the root, these stem transport these water to the different part of the plant. Okay, so basically in the stem the water is flowing, and from there the water is transporting to each and every part of the plant. Next, these are storing water also for the critical situation. Sometime maybe they are not getting the enough water. Okay, so how they used to survive in these critical situation? Because they have stored water in their stem. Mostly we are talking about the cactus. Cactus is not getting the sufficient amount of water all the time. So they used to store these water so that in the critical situation they can survive. Other thing I want to discuss is they also used to store the food, like we are eating onion, garlic and sugarcane. These are the stem part of the plant and they are swollen and we are using those part as a food. Okay, so the stems also used to store the food which is known as modified stem, and those are used as a food for the animals and human being. Next is flower. Flower is also very important. You all are knowing when the tree become adult, they start giving us flower, and flower change into the fruit which conserve the seed inside them. Why the seed most of the time is present inside the fruit? So that they can be protected by the fruit, because seeds are very important for the growth of the new plant. Now, if the seed will not be there, new plant will not grow. If the fruit will not be there, where the seed will be? And if the flower will not be there, how the fruit will become? So flower is also very important. Flower is turning into fruit and fruit is bearing the seed which is important for the growth of the new plant. Next we are going to discuss one of the most important part of the plant, that is the leaf. In our kitchen, what is the function of the kitchen? Making the food for us. Na? Our mother used to make the food in the kitchen, and then after our family member are eating that. So in the same way, the food factory is the leaf in the plant. Okay, why? Because in the leaf only the food is prepared, and then after it is transported to each and every part of the plant. That's why leaf is called the food factory of the plant. If you will see the leaf, you will see green pigments. Okay, if we see by the electronic microscope, you see the very small pigments are there. These are chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment which is present in the green leaf. Okay, if chlorophyll will not be there, then sunlight will not be absorbed and the photosynthesis will not be happen. That's why these green pigments are very essential for the plant. That's why most of the plant is green in color. Okay, and this is very important also for the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process in which plant use carbon dioxide from the air, water from the soil, and in the presence of sunlight it prepares food for the whole plant. This process is known as photosynthesis. This is very important and this cannot be performed if any of these things will be absent. If sunlight will not be there, still the photosynthesis cannot be there. If the carbon dioxide will not be there, the photosynthesis cannot be completed, and if the water will not be there, still the photosynthesis cannot be there. So for the photosynthesis, all these things are very important. When they are making the food by the process of photosynthesis, after that, in exchange of that, they are giving us oxygen. Okay, they are taking carbon dioxide and after making the food, they are giving oxygen. So this is how the plants are important. I hope in this video you have understood the different part of the plant and the process of photosynthesis. Thank you for watching.